I want to contact my lawyer.
Sure, that works.
If you spend any time on YouTube these days, you'll eventually stumble upon First Amendment Auditors. This growing trend of content creators is capturing the attention of millions and sparking debate about our constitutional rights to film in public. We hear their voices and we see their encounters, but we rarely see the people behind the camera. So who are these people, and why are they putting themselves in harm's way to test their First Amendment rights? In this story, I will be auditing First Amendment auditors to find out.
First Amendment Auditors?
Oh, really? Oh, you watch the videos?
Yeah.
Are you a fan? Or you? Oh, really? You like them?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You saw like Nasty Nathaniel?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's me.
All right.
I, as a First Amendment auditor, consider myself to be an activist. I'm doing something that can be considered educational. No, I don't consent to searches.
We have every right to do that.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
You don't have probable cause.
I do.
For reason to do
Are you
that.
asking to file some type of formal complaint?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay.
To me, it's not really so much about holding the government accountable, even though that's part of it. To me, it's about, exercising your right to record in public and educating the public. Yeah, take care.
Take care, suck my bro.
Yeah, well, if you would shave the beard, I might,
What are you gonna do, bro?
All right. You're gonna be a YouTube star now. I think it's really important to show people like, hey, you don't have to be afraid of a camera. It's just, it's not a gun, it's not a weapon, it's just a camera.
What is a First Amendment auditor?
A First Amendment auditor is someone who tests their right to record in public. And, so by doing that, you go to a specific place, whether it be a government facility. Is this the city jail? A private company, a religious organization.
You are treating somebody like dirt.
How do you think Scientology treats people? And you stand outside and you film from public property where you have a right to be. So it's basically to see if the staff, management, security, if there is any, is going to be able to respect your right to record in public. So it's like a test.
So how long have you been conducting First Amendment audits? How did you first get started?
Going back to like 2009, 2010, I was a part of a comedy group called NOAC.
Emma, keep it down, you stupid.
We got a part in a local television show on the Pacific Network, and the show was called Shaka Shakedown.
Aloha, mates! Foxy Frankie here in beautiful Waikiki Beach, Honolulu, Hawaii. And today, I'm gonna teach you how to be a foxy guy. All right, yeah,
And what we were basically trying to do was be like a Hawaiian version of Jackass.
I'm gonna teach you guys out there how to score chicks. I'm gonna teach you how to create a fabulous body like the one you see right here. Yeah, I'll even teach you how to pee.
When we would go out and film, chances are there would always be some security guard or some store manager or something that would come out and tell us, oh no, you can't film here, or you got to go across the street, or not in front of my business.
You don't need any of this. This is all garbage. All you need is my 12-part DVD series. Yeah!
And even back then, obviously I didn't know anything about First Amendment auditing, but I remember thinking like, is that a law? Can they make you leave? I understand this is their business, but they don't own the sidewalk. If I knew then what I know now, I would have just told them F off.
I have to let you know, I'm sorry about this, but
Okay.
you can do whatever you need to do, but also like the other side.
We're just gonna stay right here.
You need to be in the other side.
No, we don't. But, back then, we didn't know. We were just like, oh, okay, oh, sorry, and then we'd leave, And so then, fast forward, when I found like channels that were doing this thing called First Amendment auditing, it really made me flash back to that period of my life when I was living in Hawaii and we were having to deal with this kind of stuff. People of McDonald's, I demand the liberation of your vegetables. Give me your vegetables. Give them to me! Look at you! You're fools, all of you!
Do you typically work alone, or do you work with other First Amendment auditors?
Since I've been in this community, I've had the privilege of being able to work alongside a lot of other really creative and I'll say talented auditors. For example, me and First Amendment Rights, like we really clicked together when we would audit.
My name's Chris. I do what is called First Amendment Audits, and my channel is called First Amendment Rights. I see it as a form of like civil rights activism. It's not so much bringing the awareness all the time to the people that are there directly in front of the camera. It's the audience that sees it on YouTube or social media, because it could be anywhere from 10,000 people to upwards over 250,000 that could see a video. So I branch out, you know, to like untraditional locations, like maybe fast food drive-thrus. Sundays I'll go to houses of worship and test my right there. And it looks like we might have somebody coming over here.
I just noticed you're video recording us.
Yeah, for sure.
May I ask you what the video record is for?
Oh yeah, you can ask, no problem.
Yeah, is this for private purposes or?
Oh, I can't disclose that right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys taking video?
I sure am.
Why are you filming me?
Huh?
Why are you filming me?
Why'd you park right in front of me?
I'm not giving you permission to film me.
Well, I didn't give you permission to park in front of me.
You don't own this damn parking lot.
You don't own this, and you don't own this camera.
You want to film something?
Stay back. That's not very Christian of you, is it?
You want to film something?
Huh?
You want to film something?
Go ahead. She's recording you too, so
Good.
go about your day.
Good.
You got a problem with freedom?
I got a problem with being filmed when I'm not giving you permission to film me. Well, I'm parking in a public parking spot. Why are you backing up?
Salt. Get off my phone, man. Call the cops. Call the cops in this guy. Setting a real good example for your church. That's far enough. Thank you. I don't need to get close to you.
So I apologize for taking your phone, putting it on the ground and stepping on it.
Appreciate that. And for also hitting it out of my hand.
Sure. And also hitting it on your out of your hand.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope we all learned a lesson today that public photography is not a crime to assault somebody.
I think we all learned a lesson today.
I've had people come up, put their hand over my lens. I've been pushed. I've been shoved. I had my camera broken once.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Nice.
Are you pissed off at me or the guy with the stone?
Pissed off at you for what?
I don't know. You're filming like something. You need anything from me?
Oh, just checking it out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
Someone's never taken pictures and video before?
Well, I mean, usually they come in and say, "Hey, my name's so and so, and I'm gonna be filming."
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know I'm filming. It's plain as day, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, what's your interest exactly?
Oh, I mean, you guys are recording too, right?
I'm sorry?
You guys have cameras mounted on your building
security
too?
purposes, yeah.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter, but you have the right to record, so do I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of bizarro world.
Huh?
Okay.
In a bizarro world?
Can I help you? What's your deal?
Oh, no, I'm good. I don't need any help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because all the neighbors are calling, asking me what's going on. I'm
really?
trying to find out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just taking pictures and video.
I know, but I don't dig it, so you can get the f out. Really, seriously, I'm called police because this is private property. And,
I'm aware.
And these are people's cars and stuff. And
yeah, I know. They look pretty cool. I was kind of interested looking at all the rusted out Porsche bodies up there.
Those are from a fire that occurred here.
Oh, wow.
And it was a big loss, and it's a super emotional deal for me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, seriously. Seriously, it was a big fire here. Almost lost everything I ever owned.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm still recovering from that. And so I don't know what you're up to, but I really don't appreciate it. I'm serious.
I'm just shooting some video and pictures.
Yeah, I know, but you're starting to get on my nerves. I'm telling you right now.
I'm standing on a public curbside.
I don't care. This is my stuff.
I understand that. I'm not on your property.
I mean, if you want to be cool with me, I'll share with you. I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to.
I do magazine articles.
Very cool.
But this is just odd for you to walk up and start taking video at my shop. I'm not a big fan of it.
I mean, I could be a car enthusiast.
You could be, and I'm really cool. I have a good rep with it, and I've been
so I mean, telling me to get the F out of here and threatening to call the police on me for just taking pictures.
I will call the police if you don't share with me what's going on.
I technically don't have to. I mean,
well,
and if
you could as a human being, as somebody with just being cool.
I could. I'm just going about my day.
You're going about your day.
Yeah.
Whatever you're.
I like taking pictures in public. Is that okay?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's filming or she's filming. I don't know.
Oh, just shooting some video out here today. Yeah.
We got a lot of theft here.
Oh,
We do
okay.
get a lot of theft here.
It doesn't mean I've stolen anything.
No, but it's just kind of interesting.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Hey.
What? Hey! Don't touch.
You should leave.
You should leave right now because you're a smart piece of shit.
You just assaulted me and damaged my camera.
I was trying to be nice. Are you injured at all?
I was shoved into the
the ambulance.
dumpster. No, I don't. Haven't seen him since.
Press charges against him.
I would like to do a citizen's arrest. And I just found where he threw my viewfinder, landed in the dumpster. Now, my question is, how would I retrieve my property in case his fingerprints might be on it?
They're not going to come out and do this SID. The
Okay.
latent prints are not going to come out for this type of allegation to come out and do fingerprints for that. So there you go.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you. I would give a pass to a location if I don't hear any threats of police being called, if I don't hear anyone directly saying, oh, you need to leave or stop what you're doing, because then that's, to me, that's infringing on what I'm doing. People are sometimes curious, and hey, that's fine. We all can be curious, but then at the end of the day, I say if you escalate it further beyond that, that's when I have the problem.
For entertainment purposes, a fail is what, that's what gets you the high numbers. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when I do get a big freak out, not that I solicit that, but when somebody does come out and, yeah, and yell and holler and stuff, yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be, a banger.
Have you ever been in situations where you've been assaulted?
I got assaulted once. I was auditing in Morro Bay. I ended up getting into a confrontation with a senior officer and an individual who turned out to be the chief of police. They wanted my ID and I refused to give it to him because I wasn't committing a crime. Ultimately, the chief ended up resigning.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Police Chief Gregory Allen.
Oh, you're the police chief?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, were you the one in the back?
Yeah, I didn't mean what you were doing. I had no idea.
I didn't mean to spook you. I was hoping to get some shots of some patrol cars coming out of the station just for my little project I'm doing.
Okay, do me a favor though. What's your name?
Nate. Yeah.
Okay, Nate. Here's the best thing to do. If you're gonna do something like that, is that on?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Well, I'd prefer to keep it on just to document just the interaction.
No, just turn it off for a minute because I want to give you some advice on how to do this in the future. So while we're talking to you, just go ahead and turn it off.
Oh, I would prefer, I mean, no disrespect, Chief, but I would prefer just to keep it on just for documentation.
What are you documenting?
Just anything I can see in public, that's all.
Okay, here's the issue that you're gonna run into in police stations. And we have a real problem with it. It's really a public safety concern for my officers. So why don't we start off by, you have some ID, driver's license?
No, I prefer not to. I just prefer to remain anonymous.
I'm not really asking you. I'm insisting that you show me some identification. In a lot of towns, we have people all the time, and we're not accusing you of this, but may not have the best intentions as far as officers. So, based on that, and based on the combination of your activity, go ahead, ma'am. We're gonna insist on identifying you, and you don't have a choice. As well as the penal code violation you committed just minutes ago.
What is that violation, though?
I was asked and answered. It's the same as photographing an election office or the inside of a jail.
I've actually done that before.
Okay,
many facilities.
Yeah, and that's a misdemeanor crime, and that's why you're being contacted. And we want your identification. We want it right now, Nate. Because
I don't want to provide that, sir. I want to contact my lawyer.
We're gonna make sure
that
you not sure that hurts.
They just threw me to the ground, literally slammed my head in the pavement, and I saw stars. I mean, I'm not trying to put a lot on this for dramatic purposes, but I did. I saw stars. And threw me in the back of a hot police car for like 45 minutes to an hour. And then they released me. They let me go, kicked me loose with no explanation or no apology or anything. Morro Bay got a lot of calls They got a lot of people going there, protesting, auditing. It really put Morro Bay on the map, because before that, the only thing Morro Bay was known for was a dormant volcano.
And what was the result of those protests?
Well, ultimately, the chief ended up resigning.
The Morro Bay Police Chief is resigning. Chief Gregory Allen's last day will be August 17th.
He had only been chief, like, I don't even think, not even 6 months when that happened with me. You know, KSBY News said that, oh, well, there was, the city of Morro Bay in a statement said there's no specific reason for Chief Allen's sudden departure.
City Manager Scott Collins says there was no specific incident that prompted the decision, but that the city and Allen agreed that now was a good time for a change.
All right, well, my name is John Poe. I'm 55 years old. I've worked, as a detective sergeant, as a patrol officer, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and then chief of police.
I know shortly after Nathaniel was arrested, the community came and swarmed outside and were protesting, which eventually led the chief of police to retire shortly after. Do you think those two events were directly correlated?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. I mean, oftentimes when you see an officer is involved in something that they could possibly get in trouble for and they retire, that is to keep them from either being terminated or facing disciplinary action within their department. And they have, in most contracts for chief of police, they have a right to remove you at any time for any reason. They really had pressure on them. There were people coming out in droves over that one. They literally swatted a hornet's nest, and the hornets came out.
Could you just give me like a quick definition of what a frauditor is?
A frauditor is someone who calls themselves a First Amendment auditor. There's the cop watchers who just go and try to get a reaction out of cops. I call them a level 1 frauditor. Their job is to just put cops in situations where they might do a mistake and then they can get a lawsuit out of it.
You trying to imply criminality?
It's your agenda.
You're my agenda.
That's exactly what I thought.
You. Now what? Now where do we go from there?
Mark Stout.
Hey, let me see some ID before you don't walk away from me.
A level 2 frauditor is someone who goes in public buildings, courthouses, libraries, and they try to get a reaction out of those people. At least they're targeting real government employees, but they're still victimizing people and trying to get people fired and see if they can get a lawsuit.
I'm gonna have to ask you guys to leave. You're not allowed to film anyone on federal property. You can walk outside if you want.
Are you aware of your own Poster 7, your own rules and regulations?
I know who you are. I'm very familiar with you.
Are you aware of your own rules and regulations?
You are aware. I'm gonna have to call police.
Call the police?
If you want to waste resources, ma'am, that's on you.
The worst of the worst are category 3 frauditors. What they do is they target people that have nothing to do with the government. Everyday people like you and me. And the frauditors try to victimize them by putting them on their videos.
Well, I'm telling you it's not okay.
Well, yes, it is according to the law, ma'am.
No.
Yes.
And the whole pretense of a First Amendment audit goes right out the window because their targets are not part of the government. So they cannot even violate their First Amendment right if they wanted to because they're not part of the government.
I actually brought a little pocket constitution. I was thinking maybe you could read us the First Amendment and then we could go into detail about that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The First Amendment of the United States Constitution.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof,
or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble
and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
So tell me how that applies to your work.
There are multiple aspects. The first one would be, first and foremost, I would say, is freedom of press to document freely in a public space and to disseminate it to my audience.
What defines someone as a member of the press?
That would be pretty much any one of us that live here in America, as far as I'm concerned.
Does everybody have the freedom of the press? Like if I just have a smartphone and start recording, am I considered press in that moment?
Of course. Some people think of press as just mainstream media, like, the big networks, but, there's independent journalists, photographers, videographers, so, it's a right that we're all given in this country, which is beautiful.
How would you define the press?
Well, the press is someone who works for a separate entity. It's been established by the Supreme Court of Washington that having a YouTube channel doesn't make you press. So just the fact that I have a YouTube channel, I am not a journalist.
The freedom of the press does not mean that you have the right to film. The courts, when they analyze filming, they analyze it under the freedom of speech, not freedom of press. They make it clear in these cases. The filming itself is not press activity, it's speech activity.
What traditional public spaces are the public able to practice their First Amendment right to freedom of speech?
I drafted a legal memo containing all of the leading case law from mostly federal court cases, but there are some state court cases clearly establishing unequivocally and without exception that individuals do not have a constitutional right to film on government building property. The courts have clearly established 4 publics: traditional public, designated public, limited public, and non-public. Traditional public places are streets, sidewalks, plazas, and parks. Now, designated public, the government designates those rights. It's a space that the government doesn't have to make available for the exercise of constitutional rights. But once it does, the space is governed by the same standards as traditional public spaces, all right? Limited and non-public forums, all government building property, inside and out of it. Limited public, you would have limited rights. Non-public, you'd have no rights. They do not have a right to film on government building property. They are harassing you, they are stalking you. You can sue them. Sue them. It's your rights being violated, not the frauditors.
They think because you're allowed to be press, you can walk anywhere you want with a camera, and it doesn't matter what building. Go exercise your freedoms of press inside the Pentagon and see how far it gets you, right? It is a public building after all, right? So, and that's where their logic fails.
Is it exercising a constitutional right, or is it baiting law enforcement?
It's clear that the motivation for the people that are making the videos are to attempt to bait police into some type of confrontation.
These auditors go out to bait a reaction for a video to make money.
What would you say to the critics who say that First Amendment auditors are baiting people into arguments?
You know, if someone wants to approach, that's of their own free will. They have the free will to approach me or not, you know, either way. And then if they choose to engage me, then, you know, I'll engage in conversation, and depending on the energy level, if it's positive or negative, I just go with the flow.
It's not about anything but the YouTube video. If YouTube didn't exist, they still wouldn't be out there trying to overturn policies prohibiting filming on government building property. You have organizations like the ACLU. They sue governments over policies that they never had to violate every single day, and they didn't have to make a YouTube video to do it.
Is it legal to film someone in public? Yes. But is it legal to post it on YouTube for monetary gain? It's not. It's absolutely not. So videos get taken down through privacy complaints all the time.
And if I do, you know, get a privacy complaint, then I'll go back and blur their face or blur out any information that I need to and go from there. It's, you know, 50-50 shot, but it's worth taking that shot.
So the thing that they're exploiting here is that they're banking on the fact that the victim will not know where to find their videos.
The income that's like generated from your channel, either through those super thanks or maybe advertising dollars, is it significant?
It can be a decent amount. You know, it fluctuates month to month.
So this isn't just a hobby, it's a business as well.
Oh yeah, it's my livelihood, my main source right now.
And it's raising questions about free speech and the burdens officers face when people bent on making a point and going viral draw officers' attention and resources away from the rest of the community.
Would you also say that First Amendment auditors can draw resources away from parts of the community that may need more help, like an emergency?
Well, I think that anytime that you interfere with the ability of the department to function properly, that can be a drain on the resources. And it's not a drain on the resources of the department, it's a drain on the safety factor for the citizens. I'm not going to let them interfere with my ability to make sure that my officers get dispatched properly.
If somebody wants to stop a First Amendment auditor from doing what they're doing, is there anything they could do or should do?
Well, one of the things that people on the anti-auditor side are doing to get the videos either removed or demonetized is by playing copyrighted music. See, the City of Beverly Hills Police Department, when they would encounter auditors, they would start playing Beatles songs. Because, you know, Beatles, you know, Northern songs are heavily copyrighted. And I think that's one of the ways that, you know, the anti-auditor movement is trying to, like, keep the First Amendment auditing movement from going forward.
Totally ignore them, like from A to Z, give them zero attention because they're like petulant children. They want attention. So if you give them zero attention, they might go away, or they might just stay longer and wait for the next target. Another way that you can prevent them from posting it or stop it is you can brutally roast them on what they are, which are, you know, losers that have nothing better to do. Most likely they're not going to post that.
Do people ever use personal attacks?
It's happened.
So, they don't mind that I'm recording.
I'm a man.
Are you?
I absolutely am a man.
Oh, good for you.
It's the way God made me.
Good for you.
How have your friends and family reacted to that line of work that you do?
It's mixed. You know, sometimes I think to myself it was easier to come out as transgender than a First Amendment auditor. You know, my mom and some other family members are supportive. Some other in my family took the stance that, oh, I'm harassing people out there, and you know, I've got other family members that just prefer not to talk about it.
The hardest thing is not really with the trolls, but the hardest thing is, like, I've lost friends over this, like close friends. I lost a relationship with somebody that I was really in love with and wanted to be with. That ended because of this. My family, I'm not saying they haven't disowned me or anything, but they definitely don't like what I do, and I know that there's people that you know, say stuff to them, you know, especially like up in my area. And so yeah, you know, I get the attitude. A troll can say whatever they want, you know, like, okay, whatever, it's gonna go in one ear and out the other. But you know, when it comes down to like family, close friends, relationships, that kind of thing, that's what kind of like, that's kind of like a knife in the heart, you know. It's like, okay, you know, you can't, you know, I get it, you know, you're not really on board with what I do, but when you're gonna, like, you know, look down on me for something I believe in, you know, it's like, okay, yeah.
Most people don't find harassing people and stalking people entertaining. There are character deficiencies. These frauditors, there are deep character deficiencies, and they are in deep denial.
What do you think attracts them to this type of work? Because on the outside, if you were just to hear First Amendment auditor, you're like, oh, this is somebody who's seeking to protect the First Amendment.
Why do they flock there? I think about this day in and day out. I've come to this conclusion. I think that those are people that are looking for something to kind of overshadow who they are, something that they can find a common identity in that is bigger than who they are, so that nobody ever has to really look at them.
These guys, they're gonna be around as long as YouTube pays them. When YouTube stops paying them, they're gone. They are gone.
You may not like it, you may not agree with it, you know, you may love it, you may hate it, whatever, but, you know, your likes or dislikes, you know, don't trump my rights. And I'm not talking about, you know, specifically the right to do First Amendment audits, but just the right, if you see something interesting and you want to take a picture of it or take a little video or do a selfie or something, are you going to have some, you know, overzealous security guard coming out and trying to tell you, oh, get out of here, you can't do that? And I mean, the average Joe Schmo is not going to go out and do a First Amendment audit, but people need to know that they do have these rights. You know, I think that's extremely important. Nothing like a tasty beverage to get those love juices flowing. All right.